This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I am delighted to be joined on Zoom once again with the real deal. Dylan Moran, how are you?
Steve, very well. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
It definitely has. I was saying it before we started there. Obviously, the last position we had you in, obviously, in the background there was obviously for the Florian Markey fight a few years ago. Like, life's certainly blossomed for you since. Like, I know, I hope you won't mind me saying this, but obviously, I know when we've spoke after the Tyrone McKenna fight, you sort of really know, you'd know sort of intention, sort of maybe in some ways to come back to boxing. But I guess, you know, when we spoke before the Tyrone McKenna first fight, you were saying obviously you were a fan of his growing up in the sport. You obviously had your war with him in Waterford. It'd only be right that he's do it again because you want to rekindle more of that magic.
Yeah, definitely. It was the only fight I was coming back for. After the Waterford fight night, I found myself in the weeks after saying, "Why am I going back to the gym?" Because from day one of putting on a boxing glove, all I wanted out of the game was a big night in Waterford. Lo and behold, that night was massive. You know, the Americans came to town. It was bigger than I ever anticipated. So everything I ever wanted from the game, I got that night. Yeah, I came out the loser, which isn't ideal. But in terms of, the night that was in my head for the last 10 years, yeah, I watched it play out in front of my eyes, and yeah, so I was happy with it. And then in terms of my career afterwards, I found myself saying the only way I go back to the gym is for a rematch to try and right my wrongs with Tyrone, and here we are.
It's one of them, like I guess you're always honest still, and like you're not one of these people that go on to a multi-weight world champion and everything else. You've always set your goals and your boundaries realistic. You got your dream night headline in Waterford, big crowd, big occasion, big fight. You sort of nearly got to that stage where you're going, well, what else is there that I can do?
Yeah, that's it. And it all just came around so quick. And listen, boxing is a tough game, across the board for everyone. You have to know why you're doing it and what you want. And like I said, that was all I wanted. If I was to hang up the gloves today, I'd have no regrets. Exactly what I set out to achieve happened. And it didn't come easy. It took 10 years to make that night happen. It was unreal. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I went after it. Uh, Anything after that is a bonus. Hence, this next fight I have, it's just the icing on the cake, really. I'm in a great position with boxing. I get the big fights, I get well paid, and I'm very grateful for these opportunities.
We've obviously had known that there was an early discussion for the twos to rematch in November in Belfast. At what stage did it change? Because when I spoke to Jamie Conlon last week, he was sort of saying that the fight was made like that. There was nothing to talk about purses. Was it more the occasion? Was it more fighting with Tyrone again, like on a historic card, Windsor Park, Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan rematch for world title. Was that what done it for you, or was it just the rematch with Tyrone?
Just a rematch with Tyrone. The show and what it's going to be had no, impact on my decision at all. I said on the phone, I said, Tyrone McKenna, I'll come back for that. I get back in the gym. Then the opportunity for this card came out of nowhere, essentially. I said yes to it. I left the gym that evening saying, I wonder if this is on or not. When I got home, the poster was out.
It shows how quickly it changed, doesn't it?
Yeah, matchroom don't mess around.
Like what an occasion as well. Like obviously, I know I just touched on it there. Historic first All Irish world title fight. Like these are the moments sometimes you're in boxing for. Like when people's looking back in 20 or 30 years time, and they're going, "Who fought in the undercard of the first All Irish world title fight?" That's what you're in the sport for.
100%, Steve. Like I said, all I wanted was that big night in Waterford to be getting opportunities like this afterwards. That's like I said, the icing on the cake. Delighted to be a part of it. It's a massive night for Irish boxing. And yeah, to have your name stamped on it is something else, and it just makes it all the sweeter that it happens to be the rematch with Tyrone McKenna, his hometown hero. Yeah, it's all falling into place for me. I feel like it's all right as well. It's the story of my whole career. One step back, 10 steps forward. December didn't go my way. And now I'm going up here to Belfast, no pressure. Like I said, hood up, head down, and just set things straight.
When you look back to obviously to the fight in Waterford, do you just think of it as like was that the way you pictured it in your head when the fight was going to happen? obviously you didn't picture in your head for the result to be the way it was, but is that the way you pictured the fight? You're just going to have a war, the two's just going to go at it?
Steve, I imagined that night in my head for years. I used to run the roads here imagining it. And the fight was everything it was supposed to be. And even when I used to imagine it, I actually never even pictured the winner. That never crossed my mind. The fight, I went out specifically that night to entertain the people of Waterford and whoever else was in the crowd. And I think me and Tyrone done just that. And now that box is ticked. It's time now to go and just rectify their decision.
When you think back, when you looked at the rematch, then like I said to Jamie last week, like what can we anticipate sort of the rematch? And like it could end up being a 2 round war again. We just don't know. Like I know Tyrone said this is going to be his last fight and stuff as well. So he's not going to want to be in a boring fight. So, you know,
Yeah, can I just say as well, it's a pleasure to be sharing the ring with Tyrone McKenna in his hometown for his last fight. I used to sit in the sitting room here watching Tyrone McKenna years ago, and for some reason I was always drawn to him. Obviously, I love his style, I love a fight myself, hence why. And I would always say to the people then that were with me after he'd finished fighting, say, me and him would be some fight in years to come. And now I'm about to share the ring for the second time with him. And like I said, it's an honour, his hometown. Yeah, it's going to be something special.
it's you know that Tyrone's not going to want to play about for 10 rounds on the back foot, and neither will you. Like you just want to come and have a war, and he's want to steal the show in some ways, and everybody leaving Windsor Park going, wasn't McKenna Moran a war again?
Yeah, I think, and that's what happened in Waterford. I still meet people today, and they say to me, Dylan, if I could bottle up and sell what you and Tyrone created in that arena, I'd be a millionaire. And at the end of the day, this is the entertainment business, and that's why we got this fight straight away off the bat of it. You know, we got the call straight away for a show like that, and I suppose that's the benefit of being involved in a fight like that. At the same time, I don't like to lose, so yeah, this one is just about getting my hand raised.
Would you like it to be a 10 round war this time? Like I guess everybody always wants more of it. Like if it's a war, it's a war. If it lasts 3 minutes, or it lasts 30 minutes, you want it to go on for longer, surely.
If I could have changed one thing about that night in Walford is that I went on a couple of more rounds. I'm not even bothered about the decision. I don't like to lose, but people enjoyed it that much. Like I said, it was everything it was supposed to be. This time round is different though. That time I was playing the promoter's role. I was worried about the bar, tickets, I was just worried that everyone was going to enjoy it. Hence why the fight was what it was. But this time now is different. I entertained the last time. This one is for myself.
Last time he obviously fought in Belfast, obviously the Owen O'Neill fight, it didn't go for too long. He didn't get to soak in a lot of the atmosphere of fighting in it. You obviously maybe afterwards watching the other fights, you want to be able to soak in more of that atmosphere this time and have the fight that goes hopefully as long as it can.
Yeah, that was over quick as well. It's mad the last period of my career. Someone messaged me the other day for an interview actually, and they goes, "It's so interesting, your career's been turning into a killer be killed situation. Anytime the bell goes ding, you better be sitting down and watching." And it's true, it's either me or him, and you don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I hope this one goes on a bit longer. I'm sure it will. I had a great night the last time in Belfast, and I plan on having another one.
Obviously away from boxing, obviously I see that you just qualify. Am I correct in saying you just qualified as a personal trainer, or is it a certain level? I guess sometimes you get a personal trainer very easily nowadays. What sort of qualification was it you got in personal training?
Yeah, so I finished with Image Fitness. Online coaching is something I've planned on going into for a long time. But you know yourself, I just put on the long finger. But it's all wrapped up, done. Looking forward to getting into it. I've spent my whole life putting on weight, losing weight, getting into ruts, worse ruts than you can imagine. I've been in peak physical and mental health. And going from one point to the other is a great feeling. And the idea I can do that for people now, that's always interested me. So yeah, I'm getting going with that in the next maybe 2 weeks. And I'm looking forward to it.
It's one of them. Sometimes it's like sometimes a fighter knows the best way, knows the good ways and the bad ways to lose weight. That's what a lot of personal training stuff is nowadays. You also probably don't know how to put on his muscle as much because muscle obviously is an opposite of what you want in boxing. You don't want to be like an Anthony Yard sort of ripped to shreds, but you know what it takes to lose weight and eat the right foods to lose weight. So it's nearly I would like this. I'd like to say a high percentage of boxers are personal trainers of some sort.
Yeah, it's trial and error, isn't it? I've done it wrongly for years, and putting on weight, losing weight, trying to be your best self. getting your well-being in order. Like I said, it's trial and error. I've years of experience doing it, and I'd like to think I know a thing or two about it now. And there's so many people that haven't got a clue where to start with that. And like I said, the idea I can help them going forward has always interested me. So I got the finger out, got the course done, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Is it something that you see as a career alongside boxing still? Is it something for afterwards? Like, is this you starting to look towards the future now and thinking away from boxing and what, whenever your time comes to retire, you'll go, well, this is what I'm doing next. Is that you setting yourself up for your next stages?
Yeah, you have to get ready for the next chapter. I'll always have a gym. I'll always be coaching. I'll always be working with fighters. That's the first love of my life. But a second interest to me was online coaching because I'm always back and forth with people online, giving advice, tips, and tricks that work for me. So I said I'd like to go into a full time and provide a service online for people that can reach out whatever questions they have and I can help them. And I just kept putting on the long finger. But after the last McKenna fight, I said, you know what? I'm fucking pushing on now. 30. It's time for something else besides boxing. Boxing had always come first, as selfish as that sounds. Time to make a little time to get something else going on the side. And I'm glad I did.
Like, obviously fitness and helping people, like probably one of your other big loves is holidays. Every time I see you, nearly you're in a different country, sort of enjoying the sunshine. Like, I would say, Dylan, when you retire from boxing, you'll probably be like Gulliver's Travels, where you'll travel the world and obviously give it a diary, sort of, probably more so than you do now. But you love your good food and you love your sunshine.
I do, but what comes with that is I always go after a fight, and I've been busy. This is my 23rd fight, so I would do a camp where I'm locked away as I am now. Eating rabbit food. I don't see no one. I don't hear from no one. So forgive me if I want to pack the bag and go straight to the sun after it. And that's been my routine the last 2 years. One that I'm very grateful for. And yeah, I'll be doing the exact same thing after this one.
Definitely, it's the only way to be. You have to have them rewards. You have to have them vices. Otherwise, camps become worse and worse. And you're saying you're eating
Yeah.
rabbit food and things. You're going, I'm eating this rabbit food for a purpose because I'm going
Yeah.
here. You're trying to obviously mask it to them. You're obviously training alongside Joe Ward. Obviously, he's having a tough time at the moment getting fights. I actually just put a post. I'd actually put a post towards Queensbury last night when it said that 8 light heavyweights and I was saying that Joe Ward will fight any of them. Like, isn't that the weird thing with boxing? Like, he can be as the most talented in the world that Joe is, and he's not getting
Yeah.
opportunities. It's I guess that you obviously as an experienced fighter, you're sort of saying to Joe, keep in these opportunities will come. Probably maybe go off the grid, don't post, and then a fight will come like 3 or 4 weeks notice, and you're ready for it.
Yeah, my whole career, Steve, has been built on one more try. Had I not just tried again, I'd have got nowhere. But I've always just tried again. And the last 2 years for me have been a dream come true. I've had massive opportunities, ones that I could have only ever hoped for. And this one is massive again. And, long may they continue. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to stay on the graft. And it is, I don't know, does luck come into play, but hard work definitely does. You need to keep your name out there and keep it in the mix.
You definitely do. Obviously, what do you expect of sort of the atmosphere, I guess, of fight week in Belfast? Like, I know that you and Paddy have obviously had your back and forth in the past. You're going to have the two real deals on the same card. Obviously, he's going to have that stage where we're maybe looking at a fight in the battle of the real deal. The two real deals are on the one card in Belfast.
Yeah, mad. Yeah, me and Paddy had our spat years ago, when the two of us were on the up, Um, I don't really have any problem with Paddy today. It's the two of us down south against the two northern boys on the 13th of September. So yeah, in a roundabout way, I'm with him on this one.
And that's your plan. Like, you're just coming up here just to rip up the script and tell Tyrone McKenna that you're spoiling his retirement party.
This is the plan, Steve. I'm really looking forward to it. Everything feels right. The last show, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. My focus was elsewhere, everywhere where it was supposed to be. This time, nothing is on my back. Only, like I said, hood up, head down, train hard for the next 6 weeks, rock in and do what I'm supposed to do, or what I should have done the last time. Exactly like I done with Owen O'Neill. That was just enjoyable. Out of town, no pressure, no stress. Rock up, get the job done, and go home.
like obviously, saying you get the victory on the 13th September, that makes it one each. Like there then becomes the call where Tyrone's going, this is my last fight, we'll send one each. And then you're going, come
Yeah.
on, we'll do one more. Like when does one more stop?
Yeah, I don't know. For me anyway, Steve, I'm delighted with this fight. I'm also well aware of, boxing and the implications it has, health wise and whatnot. It's an unforgiving game. I'm 30 now, looking forward to the next chapter in life, like the online coaching and whatnot. I plan on beating Tyrone McKenna. After that, if Jamie Conlon comes to me with something that pricks my ears up and some good numbers on a sheet of paper, I'll have it. But other than that, yeah, you have to do what's right for yourself. It gets to that point.
You definitely do. Like, I was speaking with someone actually at the show the other night, and I was sort of saying, there's fighters out there, Dylan, that probably are scared to say they're retired, but they are retired, if you know what I mean. So they don't want to come out and publicly say, I'm retired, because most of their lives, that passion's been in a sport that they don't want to give up on it. So they sort of really sometimes drift off into the sunset. And after 3 or 4 years, people go, are you still boxing? No, I'm retired, because people's forgotten about them, man.
Steve, it's scary. The last few months for me wasn't a nice place to be. I thought I was retired. But then when I had to accept it, I was like, well, what do I do now? It's like an identity crisis. Who am I? Where do I go? Where do I belong? I've spent years been in the same routine, the same script, the same discipline structure. When that's taken from you, it's a hard one to figure out. That's why my advice to any young fighters in the game that are starting off, firstly, it's over in the click of a fingers. Enjoy every step of the way, but also have something going on the side. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. Many fingers, many pies. I'm all for going all in with your training. Yes, 100%. But that's only a couple of hours out of the day. Have something else going on the side. You'll be glad you did.
Where do you look at your adrenaline fix away from boxing? Like, is there anything else that can compare in boxing in some ways where you go, like abseiling off the side of a cliff, skydiving, bungee jumping? Like, is there anything that like an adrenaline fix that can compare to boxing?
I don't think so. I'm definitely not bungee jumping anyway, Steve. I'm a simple man. Life is good for me. It's simple, it's easy. I do a bit of training every day, some good food, up early, bed early, good people around me, and I'm happy. That's the main thing. It doesn't take much for me to be happy. I'm delighted to be back in camp, delighted to be back in that routine, that structure, and I'm just enjoying it all. Like I said a couple of months ago, I thought I wasn't going to have it again, and it's a case of you only realize what you had when it's gone. I have it back now, and I'm just soaking it all up.
And I'm sure obviously everybody's delighted, and Waterford as well, that your friends and your family that have followed the career throughout. Like, you're giving them another away day and another reason they jump in the car and head to Belfast and have a night out. Like the last time you were there, I'm sure they all made a fortune, obviously off your victory. So they're probably still trying to spend their winnings. So you're giving them another excuse to come out and spend their winnings from the last time in Belfast.
Yeah, I'm still owed a few quid from them bits. No, listen, shout out to everyone, Steve. I get these opportunities and the opportunities that have passed because of the support I get. We all know boxing is a game of selling tickets and how many bums you can put on seats. And I've been blessed, absolutely blessed. There's a few good people in the world, and I'm lucky enough to know most of them. And they all get behind me. That's why I got the call again off the back of the show in Waterford. Big numbers on seats. They follow me through thick and thin. And yeah, forever grateful for it. And I plan on giving them a great night on the 13th of September.
Definitely. But Dylan, listen, thanks very much as always for your time. Obviously, just over 5 weeks to go, obviously, until fight week. 5 weeks is Saturday, actually, 13th September in Belfast. We'll look forward to obviously probably seeing you around this time in 5 weeks' time when fight week gets underway. But obviously, we hope the next few weeks of camp goes well for you, and we'll see you in fight week in Belfast.
Steve, you're a gentleman. Thank you very much. Great to
Cheers,
speak to
Dylan.
you.
Take care.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.